Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the live stream. Now, within this live stream, we're actually going to be introducing you to a new product within our QLED range, more specifically within our Q8 series, which is the Q8D. Now, this TV provides something a little bit different to the rest of our QLEDs, but it means that we now have something for everybody within the Q range. Now, within this live stream, we're going to be talking about what is different about the Q8D and how the features are going to impact our shoppers' experience. Secondly, we're going to be talking about how it actually fits into the QLED range and how we actually provide a great solution for everybody within the QLED range. And then thirdly, how are we going to talk about this to shoppers on the shop floor? And we're going to be sharing with you guys some best practice of how to demonstrate. And then lastly, we have a live Q&A session with Chris Hall, our TV product manager. So make sure that you guys are getting your questions in. So let's get started. So the key benefit of the Q8D within the Q8 range is a step up in picture quality. And to showcase this to you, I've got a Q8F, I've got a Q8C, and I've got a Q8D. Now, to highlight that this is an out-the-box experiment, I'm just going to show you that they're all in the same mode. So I've got HDR standard, HDR standard, and HDR standard. And to make this real life, I'm playing a UHD Blu-ray, going through a HDR splitter. And if you haven't guessed already, it is La La Land, which is great content to showcase our amazing contrast performance. Now, if we just pause this on the scene with Emma, I just want to highlight a couple of things to you that you might not be able to see at home. So I just want to point out the actual audience members. So if we look on the Q8C and the Q8F, we're getting some great performance through our shadow detail. But if you're looking at the lady at the back here, the lady just here, and the lady just here, when we take those reference points to the Q8D, we can start to see a lot more detail within their faces, what you would actually start to see if you're standing next to them in the crowd. The other thing that I'd like to pull your attention to is actually Emma herself. Now, on the Q8F and C, she does pop through there, but on the Q8D, she really starts to shine in that audience. And you know that she is the focal point of this shot of what Ryan is performing to. So we're getting that better shadow detail performance from the Q8D. But let's push this a little bit further, because we know contrast is about blacks and whites. So let's pause on a scene with the spotlights, where on the Q8C and the Q8F, we're getting a really nice black coming through here. But it's a little bit murky, okay? And when we look at the spotlights, they are piercing through that blackness. But when we bring it to the Q8D, we're getting that inky black coming from the surroundings and that piercing white from the spotlights, making you feel like you're actually standing in the audience watching this amazing show. So why are we getting this great performance from the Q8D? That's because we have stepped up to Q Contrast Plus. And so we've got our entry full array backlighting system. So with a direct array, it means that the LEDs are directly behind the RGB subpixels, giving us that more control over the light being produced for that better contrast performance. So this means I can actually see that zombie lurking in the darkness when I'm watching Fear of the Walking Dead, and I can feel the heat of that explosion when I'm watching Westworld. And it truly doesn't matter what time I'm watching them when we pair that with Ultra Black. So with Q Contrast Plus, we get superior contrast night and day with direct dimming. Now, because we've got that extra control, it will have an impact on our color and our HDR experience. And to showcase that to you, I've actually changed the content to The Great Wall, which is a film with Matt Damon. And the things that I would like to point out to you is actually the specular highlights. So if we're looking at Matt Damon's face on the Q8F and the Q8C and the reflection of the sunlight, you can tell that is quite a warm day in China. But then when we move over to the Q8D and look at the same spot, you can start to feel the intensity of that heat and also the sweat coming off his brow. And what I find hilarious is this truly confused expression coming from his partner. And that is because of the control that we have with that direct array. Now, within a color experience, what it will also do is be able to make that color more vibrant. Okay? So when we're looking at the Q8F and the Q8C, we're getting that brilliant color representation and that really metallic blue pops. But when we're looking at the Q8D, we're starting to see all those increment details of that beautiful blue armor. And this is because of that direct array being controlled by our Q mastering engine to give us that spectacular picture that we expect from Q Picture Pillar. Great picture quality is a partnership between natural color representation, great shadow detail, realistic brightness, and those fine details which QLED delivers. And with the Q8D in Q Color, we are delivering 100% color volume of cinema color, meaning that we get the full color of the latest movies. With QHDR, we're delivering 1,500 nits to get content how the creator intended us to experience with HDR10+. With Q Contrast Plus, we deliver great shadow detail and brightness at the same time through direct backlight and our ultra black. And with Q Engine, bringing it all together for that spectacular picture quality. And the Q8D comes with all of those great elements within Q Smart. So the one remote to control all of those external devices. We can set it up with our mobile device, and we can also control it via SmartThings app. So you might ask me, right, so does it come with the One Connect box, the one near invisible connection, or is it no gap wall mount compatible? The answer is no, but that's what makes it a great solution for a customer that wants to upgrade their 7 or 8 year old wall mounted TV to the latest picture quality and smart experience, because all they need to do is attach it to their current wall mount, because as all of our TVs, it is VESA compatible, and then just plug in their cables that they've already got channeled into the wall. So it is quite literally plug and play. And to tidy up those cables, we have our clean cable solution at the back of the TV. And in line with the super big trend, the Q8D comes in 55, 65 and 75 inch. And to get rid of that big blank box when you're not using the TV, we have ambient mode to make your TV nearly invisible. Now, with the introduction of the Q8D, we truly have a solution in the QLED range for everyone. And that is what we're going to be exploring next after this short video. So guys, make sure you're getting your questions in.
100% color volume. Do you know how good that looks? No? Sounds perfect though, right? Oh, even better.
See the bigger picture that others want.
How much do you love watching football? About this much? Coincidence? Terry says it's okay.
So to show you guys how the Q8D actually sits in the QLED range, I've invited Chris to support me with this.
Hi Ali, thanks for having me. It's really great to be here with you guys, and I'm excited to talk to you about the Q8D, where it sits within the range and the step up within that range.
And guys, please remember that in a training conversation, we always step up between the range, but in a sales conversation, we must always start at the top and work our way down.
Exactly. So what we're going to be talking to you about is how we have now within the QLED range a product really for everyone.
Yeah, and to make sure that this is real life, to show you what the benefits of each one of those QLEDs are, I've got Thor Ragnarok being played through on a HDR splitter to all of our different TVs.
Now, I want to reinforce that the channels that you work in will have differing levels of representation of the different products that we're showing you here. So just make sure that you know exactly what is in your store, what's online, so that you can talk to your customers about the products that are available in those channels specifically.
Brilliant. Well, let's get started with the Q6F, with the F standing for flat.
Yeah, and the Q6F is a great product. It has all the essential benefits of our QLED range. It comes with quantum dot technology, giving 100% color volume.
Yeah, and that means that we're actually getting natural color representation at any brightness. So we see the full color of the latest films. So with Thor Ragnarok, when we're actually in this dark passage, what we can see are all the different colors of his skin when that light hits him, and also the highlights of his hairs being hit by that light.
That's because we have HDR 1000, 1000 standing for 1000 nits of brightness. That means that we can really project all of the brightness of the picture to the customer's eyes. Also has HDR 10 plus, so an HDR standard, basically future-proofed.
Exactly, because when we're in home, we want to make sure that we've got content as the creator intended us to experience, with that great shadow detail and that realistic brightness. So when you're actually looking at the specular highlights coming from this chair, those lights actually start to pop through, and when it's bright and those explosions, you start to feel that heat.
Yeah, exactly. And what we're talking about here is the HDR standard. So it supports HDR 10 plus, but we can also stream things like HLG, which is great for the World Cup content. You might have seen that BBC are streaming HDR football at the moment. So you can actually see HLG HDR content on your Q6F.
And it's a really exciting time because we're finally getting that live content in our homes in HDR. Now, design is also a key factor for our customers as well. So with the Q6F, what we have is we have our three-sided bezel-less design. We have that great cable management system that goes through our legs.
And also we have the ambient mode. So not just great cable management, not just a very beautiful design to the TV, but ambient mode, which is a real key story and a key winner for us this year. So it means you can put your TV anywhere in your room, just take a photo of the back of it and blend it into the background of your wall, which is great.
Yeah, which means no more blank box, which is
exactly
brilliant. Now, all of this makes the Q6F a great solution for customers that want that core picture quality that a QLED can provide. But also, the QLED and Q6F is the only model that comes in 49-inch. So how do we step up? So let's go to the Q7F.
Q7F. When it comes to the Q7F, we see a step up in the range. It steps up to our complete QLED product. Complete because it pairs all of the great picture quality benefits of QLED with all of those style elements of QLED. Style elements allowing you to redesign your living space around how you want it, not necessarily where your TV has to sit. Now with those picture quality benefits, we have 1500 nits of brightness. That's important because it allows you to see all of those specular details in HDR films.
Exactly. And instantaneously, you guys can probably see at home that there is a brightness difference between the Q6 and the Q7. And if I just point out a couple of those specular highlights that we've been talking about, especially when the asteroids come flying through on the Q7, they really pop outside of the screen, even in this really bright studio. And
that's right, Ollie, because what we have is Q contrast, which means that you can really see all of the detail in the screen, even whether it's night or day.
Exactly. So it means for the World Cup, if it's those day matches, you're not missing any of those nail-biting kicks.
That's it. That's it. So we talked about the picture quality benefits. Now the style elements. So we have the one near invisible cable, which carries both your content and your power supply to the TV. But we also have the One Connect box, which allows you to hide away all of those multimedia devices out of sight in a cupboard. And also the no gap wall mount, which means that you can mount your TV to your wall nice and flush without any unsightly cables.
And all of this makes the Q7F a brilliant solution for customers that want that great picture quality, but also that unique personalized design. So let's step up to the 8 series. Now, when it comes to the Q8 series, this is where we need to use our rapport and our questioning with our shoppers to actually find out what their key drivers are, to ensure that we're actually showing them the correct solution for them. And it could be either picture quality or design.
So if it is design and they're very conscious about how the TV looks in their living room or in their space, they also want a very good picture quality. You can take them over to either the Q8F or the Q8C. And Q8F comes with a very premium metallic design, both on the one remote control, the stand, and also the rear. So it looks great from whatever angle you're seeing the TV.
Yeah, it is a gorgeous TV. And during your conversation and using the Only Samsung Can questions, and you find out that the customer is interested in the benefits of curved, the choice is clear.
So that's correct, Ollie. You'd be discussing the Q8C. Q8C, C stands for curved, and all of those benefits that curved viewing brings. So deeper, more immersive viewing.
Yeah, exactly. So you feel a part of the action with Auto Depth Enhancer. When your Thor is in this tunnel, you actually feel how long it is.
And you have wider viewing angles.
So when you've got your mates round for a World Cup party and they're all sat on the sofa, no matter where they're sat, they get that great viewing experience.
And you also have clearer viewing for longer times.
Which is great for gamers or great for Netflix bingers. But if you discover during your questioning that picture quality is their key driver, or they have a wall-mounted solution that they're just looking to upgrade, the Q8D is the right solution for them.
Q8D, D standing for Direct Array, offers Q Contrast Plus performance, something we explored earlier.
Exactly. So we talked about how that greater control over the light gives us that better blacks and that's better whites, but also impacts our color and our HDR experience.
Yeah, so it's a great solution for customers that want to just plug and play their existing format. It doesn't have all of those Q-style elements that the other QLED products in the range have, but it is VESA compatible and able just to be plugged and play.
Yeah, I think probably the thing that we're all wanting to see now is how the Q8D actually compares to the ultimate QLED, which is the Q9F.
Yes, and that's the ultimate QLED. So the Q9F, ultimate because it has the great picture quality, but also the style features of QLED.
And we should always be starting with this ultimate experience with the Q9F when we're starting to have a sales conversations with customers. So give them that premium experience and then start to go down the range.
So what we start with is the Q Contrast Elite. So that's the Q9F Direct Array panel.
Yeah, which means we get more control over our LEDs, so our bright and our dark areas. So for instance, if I'm just picking this area here with Thor and his chest plate, I see a little bit of detail on there, but actually when we move across to the Q9F, we're seeing all those increment details, the little scratches from old battles that we have with Thor.
Yeah, and you can really see that around the armpit area, not so much on the Q8D, but definitely on the Q9. You also have HDR 2000 as opposed to HDR 1500.
Which really steps up our HDR experience, meaning that we reveal all those hidden details in the dark areas and the bright areas. So for instance, if we look at the back set here, where we're starting to lose a little bit of that shadow detail, but over on Chris's, you can actually see all the individual cogs in the dark areas. But even if we just take the pause sign here and we look at the clouds in the background, I can kind of see them, but actually with the Q9F, I can see each individual cloud that's behind the Grandmaster.
And as well as the great picture performance, we don't want to forget the great benefits that come with the Q-style features.
Exactly. So that means that the customer can literally design their room their way.
Yeah. So these are all features that we're telling you about and we're really excited about, but it's also things which we've received great reviews for. So the Q9F has received 5-star rating from a whole host of different reviewers, and most recently reference status, meaning that it's basically a benchmark from which other TVs should be marked.
And now, with the introduction of the Q8D, we truly have something for everybody in the QLED range. With the Q6F being the essential QLED and the entry to that amazing picture quality that the quantum dot provides.
And Q7F, the complete QLED, providing great picture quality and allowing the customer to personalize their space and have their home their way.
And with the Q8F for those design-driven shoppers, it looks absolutely amazing from any angle. And with the Q8C, that gives us that great design, but also that immersive watching experience, with both of them giving us minimalistic design for that maximum impact.
So the Q8D is for those picture quality driven shoppers who want to bring up their current solutions into 2018.
And then finally, the ultimate QLED with Q9F, which gives shoppers that amazing picture quality and that amazing style solutions. And that's us nearly done before the Q&A session with Chris.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your questions, so please do send them in.
So Chris, thank you very much. You have a little bit of a breathing space now before the Q&A session starts, so you can chill out and have a nice cup of tea. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay guys, so during this live stream, we have explored the benefits of the Q8D, and we've talked about how it is actually positioned within the QLED range. But I want you guys to know what the Q8D is going to look like when it's in your stores. And I'm going to share some best practice with you of how to discuss the benefits with your shoppers. To do this, I've actually enlisted one of your colleagues, Chris Smart, to talk you through this. And he's going to be presenting from his curry stores in Poole after this short video.
Look at all your remote controls. Are they so beautiful that your friends are jealous? There is a first time for everything.
See details others can't.
Boxes and cables under your TV. That's ugly. Is it wrong to have more beauty in life? Come on.
Thank you, Ollie. And I'm here in Poole to discuss where the Q8D will be positioned within your stores and how we can make that great information that Ollie's just shared really come to life for your shoppers. So the first thing to discuss is where the Q8D will be positioned within your stores and how it will look. In Currys, it will be positioned in price and size logic. Here are some other examples. The great news is that the Q8D will be an additional QLED to the current 2018 QLED range, and it will be positioned with the rest of the QLEDs. But please be aware this is also depending on your own store's ranging plan, where the Q8D might replace the Q8F in run, but will still be available to order online. No matter where we are though, we'll all be using them great questions. The only Samsung can questions like, what do you love to watch? How bright is your room? And what time of day do you watch TV? These questions really give us the information that we can personalize that demonstration for our shoppers when visiting the store. What I'm going to do is introduce some best practices and show you how to really bring to life the demo content for your shopper. This is a shortened version of Party in Black. What we're seeing is really bright whites and really dark detailed blacks on screen at the same time. This is driven by Q Contrast Plus. It's a great scene to relate to sci-fi fans out there. Imagine Star Wars. What I do is I point out the very deep, rich black levels and these really bright whites. These really help with them space battles. Imagine the explosions on screen when viewing your favourite sci-fi movie. Another great scene is the three ladies demonstrating the benefits of Q Colour. Colour volume is about accurate colour at any brightness. Highlight the dress. Point out the different shades of blue as the light hits the dress. We can then move on to how natural the skin tones look on all three women. This is driven by Q Colour. It's a great scene to relate to reality fans. So when you're watching Love Island, you can see how that tan is changing day by day. Another great scene is the cocktail glasses, to really help show off HDR. HDR is about those realistic highlights and great shadow detail. If we look at the blue drink here, we can see the light coming in and the reflection really standing out. We then cheers with the red drink here, really showing off that shadow detail as the light comes across the two. Also point out things like the jewellery and how bright and sparkly that is. The skewer here coming into the reflection on the cherry. These are all parts of HDR. This is driven by QHDR. It's a great scene to relate to gamers and the movie lovers out there. Because with the Tomb Raider game, when she's in the caves and you can see all the textures on the rocks, and when she's walking through the snow and the footprints that she leaves. These are just a few examples of how to sell the experience with the Q8D in store with your shoppers and really bring that demonstration to life. But please don't forget the other great tools like certifications and the 10-year screen burn warranty to add confidence within the brand. And to help sell the complete experience, use the promotions such as interest-free credit. We now offer up to 24 months interest-free credit, allowing the shopper to step up to them super big screen TVs. We can now offer the 65 Q8D for around about £130 a month, or the 75 for around about £185. We also have our great cashback promotion, completing the experience of up to £400 cashback with any purchase of any all-in-one soundbar or cinematic soundbar. So with everything that we've learned today, the experience really starts and ends with you. It's about your personality and how you bring that to the shop floor and how we demonstrate the benefits of the Q8D to the shopper when they're using it within their homes. On that, I'd like to sign back to you, Ollie, in the studio.
Thank you, Chris. And that's all we have time for on this live stream. But the three key things that I want you to take away from this stream is, number one, the Q8D is for those shoppers that picture quality is their main driver. And it delivers that great picture quality through Q Contrast Plus. The second thing, where it actually sits within the QLED range. And through our rapport, we need to find out what those customers' key drivers are to present to them the correct solution. And the QLED range truly has something for everyone. And then lastly, how to make those demonstrations come to life in store using the built-in content. And remember, guys, always use your rapport with the shopper to sell that experience. Now, after this short video, there is going to be our Q&A session, so make sure you get your questions in. And guys, I'll see you in the field.
UHD, HDR, nits. Who wants all this TV mumbo jumbo? You do, my friend. You do. Do you need a big TV to watch football? No. But you want it. I know you do. Jerry says it's okay. How many TVs can almost become invisible? One. And now, you want it more, don't you?
Hi, and welcome. Welcome to the live Q&A. So I'm here with Chris, so thanks for joining us, Chris. And let's get into the questions, shall we? And thank you very much for all the great questions. So we'll start things off. So first question, if the F stands for flat and the C for curved, what does the D stand for in the Q8D, and why not S?
Yes, so D stands for direct array, which is the type of panel technology we're using in the Q8D. C stands for curved, like you said, and F for flat. So I think that answers the question.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, cool. Okay, so next question. So what wall mounts is it compatible with, and what are the VESA dimensions?
Thanks, Dean. The wall mounts it's compatible with is VESA. So this is a Q8D we're talking about. The VESA dimensions for the 55-inch are the
200, Vesta 200 by 200. For 65 and 75 inch, it's Vesta 400 by 400.
Excellent, but don't forget that the 55 and 65 are also still compatible with the Samsung Mini wall mount as well.
Great.
Okay, next question. Can the legs of the Q8D be adjusted?
The legs of the Q8D cannot be adjusted. They're just fixed at specific points.
Okay, so if you're getting the 75, you need a bit of a wider stand.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. So it has those two legs on either side, so obviously you'll have to advise your customer if they're going to put it on a stand that they'll need a bigger stand. But obviously try and encourage them to wall mount it as well. There's great benefits that can be had of wall mounting the TV.
Absolutely, and obviously, again, as far as having the Q8D with the ambient mode, we obviously would hardly recommend to have it wall mounted anyway. So yeah,
exactly.
Excellent. Okay, so what sizes of the Q8D will be available and when will it be launched?
Thanks. So the Q8D is going to be launched on Monday. So that's when you can expect to start seeing them coming into stores, which is why we're doing this today, so that you guys can get all the information you need before that happens. We are also looking to launch it in a 55-inch, 65-inch, and a 75-inch. Does that cover all your questions?
I think so, yeah, absolutely. So we've got kind of everything there that we need. So 55, 65, 75, and it's out in Monday.
Out on Monday.
Perfect. Okay, so next question. How many dimming zones does the Q9 have versus the Q8D?
So this is a question we don't really want to get bogged down with too much. We don't want to talk to a customer about lots of numbers that don't really mean anything to them. It's much better that we try and show them, so take them to the TV and show them how the direct full array panel works and what it produces. So on the Q8D, you'll have the Party in Black, a shortened version of that content, as well as the Quantum World content. On that, you'll be able to see the really brilliant brightness that it produces, as well as the real dark blacks of Q Contrast Plus on the Q8D and Q Contrast Elite on the Q9F. So show them that content, and then they can really see for themselves the differences between the two panels.
Exactly. So needless to say, the whole point about this is a picture quality step up. So we move up from the 7 or the 8, F or C, and then we move into the D if we want that better picture. But if we want the complete package, that's where we go for the Q9FN.
Exactly, the ultimate QLED experience.
The ultimate, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Okay, so is there a difference between direct array and full array?
No, they're exactly the same terms, just different language. Yeah, direct and full array are the same.
Yeah,
what would you say?
Yeah, there's lots of names banned around. You've got fouled full array local dimming, you've got full array, you've got direct array. They all mean the same thing. Yeah. We call it direct full array just because it then adds a little bit more Samsung to the product rather than a throwaway term like fouled or something like that. Yeah. Okay, will the Q8D come with the premium one remote or a standard one remote?
Great question. The Q8D comes with a one remote control, so the standard one remote. The Q8F and Q8C come with the premium one remote control, so that's the metallic, stylish design for your more style-conscious customer. So that extra Q-style element with the Q8F and Q8C. The Q8D is just the standard black one remote control.
Excellent. So it just keeps that whole thought process around the Q8D from the Q7F being a picture quality upgrade, whereas if we're looking for that real design, iconic sort of thought process, that's where we step to the side to the F and the C in the Q8 when we continue that Q-style and design process. Excellent.
But it's important to note as well that the Q8D, whilst it doesn't have all of those style elements of the Q8C and the Q8F, it will still have ambient mode. And so you have that dedicated hotkey on your remote for ambient mode as well.
Fantastic. So again, excellent if you want to wall mount it.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Is the Q8D compatible with the studio and tower stands?
No.
No.
Yeah, no. That's a simple.
Yeah, pretty
simple
straightforward.
Answer.
So
yeah, so it's not compatible with the studio or the stands. Not compatible with the no gap wall mount. But this is not necessarily a bad thing. Speak to your customer. Find out what they have at the moment. It may well be that they've got some HDMI cables and a VESA wall mount already set up in their homes, and they just want to replace what they have at the moment with a new, updated, better setup.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that we took as feedback about from a lot of people, is that they would like to have the choice, and the Q8D gives the consumer that choice.
Exactly.
Where they don't necessarily have to reimagine all of their current infrastructure. So fantastic. Okay, why does it not have a One Connect? Kind of the same reason, really.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't have the One Connect. What we're doing is we're offering a different option for a different customer. So find out what your customer's leanings are. Are they more style orientated? Do they want to have that seamless One Connect cable that just goes away, or do they have a pre-existing setup that is just going to be switched over for a new TV?
Exactly, and again, this all comes back to those people that have already invested in setting up all their cables, or maybe someone that's got a kind of a custom install or something like that. Yeah. They can still enjoy QLED picture quality without having to compromise on changing everything around because we have the One Connect box and worrying about where to put that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so does it have a 10-year screen burn warranty?
Yes,
of course.
So it's a QLED TV, so not an OLED, and therefore doesn't suffer a screen burn. And we really just want to reinforce that, yeah, we guarantee it for 10 years because it's not going to have screen burn.
Yeah. So again, everything is about, anything above 1,000 nits has the screen burn warranty, and obviously the frame still as well. Yeah. So that message doesn't change. Sell with confidence around the screen burn warranty. There's no issues there at all. We're very happy with that. Okay, so then next question, what is the HDR rating? Does it have HDR 2000 or is it 1500?
So Q8D is 1500, and then you step up to HDR 2000 for the Q9F.
So again, that's when we talk about Q Contrast Plus versus Q Contrast Elite. It's the whole thing. It's not just a matter of dimming zones and numbers. It's a whole package of improvements that we've made that give you the Contrast Plus and then Contrast Elite. Thank you. Okay, cool. So is this not just a step up from the Q6?
No. So the Q6... obviously, yeah, is our entry into QLED. It only has 1,000 nits of brightness. It's similar in the style elements. It doesn't have all of the style elements of the Q7, Q8, and the Q9. But the panel technology behind the Q8F, because it's a direct lit full array panel, means that it's able to produce an even better picture. So it has Q Contrast Plus, as Dean was just saying, and also the all important the black levels of the technology that we're able to deliver. So it's a much better product than the Q6. Yeah. So it's a different situation.
Yeah. So the 6 has given us that great cinematic color experience. Yeah. But because we're not necessarily getting above the 1,000 nits, and it doesn't have the ultra black technology in the panel as well, so it gives us an improvement in color. But the Q8D gives us significant improvement in light control, and that's why the benefit there is over the Q7F. And that's why we give that alternative between the Q8, F or C to the Q8D.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. Excellent. Has its apps all been licensed yet on the Q8D, or will some be missing initially?
No, so it just uses the same smart platform as what we have for the other QLED range, so nothing should be missing.
No, so again, sell with confidence. We'll have all of the catch-up apps, and don't forget that you can still enjoy some great matches on BBC iPlayer in UHD and hybrid log gamma HDR, which looks amazing.
It does. It looks really good.
Okay, any update on the no-gap wall mounts, as there isn't any stock at the moment?
Okay, no-gap wall mounts. Yeah, so we have a changeover of the model number, which you will be seeing coming through. So moving from a 12 to a 13, and from a 22 to a 23 for the different screen sizes. So you may just want to make sure that you're looking at the right model number if you're checking out your stock. But the 23s and the 13s will be coming in shortly.
Exactly. So again, I guess the key thing there is it's more just of a bit of a range switch around. So sell through the 12s and the 22s as quickly as you possibly can. And the next model running forwards will be the 13. It just prevents having any age stock in the channel and that kind of thing. So that is the model. In terms of differences, there aren't any really. It's the same thing. There was just some other reason why they needed to change the number.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question, so are there any plans for a 49-inch QLED other than on the Q6?
No, it's a very simple answer. We are, basically, we've looked into the reasons why what people are buying. People are buying larger and larger screens. Generally, when people upgrade, they don't get like a smaller screen. They go for a larger screen size. And so what we're doing is we're offering more 55, 65, and 75 inches because this is what people are looking for. And we're also confident with our ambient mode that that screen becomes much more than just a black eyesore in the room, but actually it's utilized for something, displaying beautiful images, pictures, or good content.
Excellent, thanks Chris. Okay, right, well that's it for all the questions. Now we have had a request for everyone to not forget about their conference calls with Kate directly after the call today. I hope you've enjoyed the live stream and got everything you need. We've been capturing all your great questions as well, so do feel free to keep sending them through. I'd like to say thank you to Chris and thank you to Ollie for a very informative and great amount of information about an exciting new product. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.